over 700 games. And it's pretty cool. Sorry, I don't really know how to do this video properly. But 700 games, that's a lot of games, right? Yeah, I get a lot of questions whenever I tell somebody that I collect video games. I get a lot of questions like, the first question they ask me is one of two. They either ask me, what's the rarest game you own, or what's the most expensive. Sorry if I have to go to soft spoken. Just let my voice settle after whispering for so long. So that they either ask me what's the rarest game I own or what's the most expensive game I own. And I guess I should explain something. Rare does not mean expensive, and expensive does not mean rare. Let's take, for example, the Mario Party games on the GameCube. They sold well on the GameCube for being on the GameCube. I feel like if you had a GameCube, you had one of the Mario Party games. I own 6. I own 4 of them came out on the console, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 6 just so happens to be the most expensive one, and I own 6. I can't remember what it runs for last time I checked. I can't remember what it runs for now. But last time I checked, it ran for roughly $75, $80, right? That's really expensive for a game. And that's complete with the game box manual. I guess it would be game case manual. Give me one quick second. I'm going to cut this out. For the cut there. So, back on the topic of the Mario Party games. Some of them are really, all of them are really expensive. I think 7's the cheapest. Anyways, they sold well on the console. And, they're pretty common, right? Because they sold well on the console. Unfortunately, a lot of people want them, which means price goes up. Oh no. Felt the sneeze coming on. Whoops. Anyways. Mario Party 6 is probably the less expensive one. I don't remember. I can't quite remember. I'd have to check. But Mario Party 6, a lot of people bought that game, so it's not rare at all. But a lot of people want it, which is why last time I checked, it was going for $75, $80. So now, let's. No, I'm not sure of a rare game that's not. Oh, you know what? I do. Okay. Mario is missing on the NES. That game is fairly uncommon, right? It's fairly uncommon. on the NES. On the SNES, it's, I think, pretty common, but it's fairly uncommon on the NES. It goes for about $15, right? Nobody wants Mario is missing. Are you kidding me? It's an educational game. It was the first game that starred Luigi as the main role, who you play as, you know. So that's actually fairly uncommon on the NES, but nobody really wants it, so that's why it's $15. I own that game, by the way. I found it at a store, a specialty shop. Got it for $15. Sorry for the cut there. So back on the topic of when people ask me this question, probably the most expensive game I own, it's got to be on the GameCube, because GameCube is really on the rise right now. GameCube is super on the rise, because a lot of people want GameCube stuff now. Even common stuff is starting to become more expensive. You gotta go on eBay, and I'll see a lot of like sports games for $20. There's no reason for that. $20 for sports games. And if you like sports games, good for you. But they are very common, and they should be $1 a piece. I mean, for sports games. Anyways, probably the most expensive game that I own is on the GameCube, and I have. It's probably Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, complete with the game case manual. It's that, or it's Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, which I have complete game case manual. I think it's leaning more towards Pokemon XD now, because while Paper Mario did go up in value a lot last year, I think it's starting to come down a bit, because people realize that paying $170 for Paper Mario is kind of outrageous. But yeah, those are the most expensive games. Those are the most expensive games I own. Now, as for the rarest game that I own, I don't really know. If I had to take a guess on what is potentially going to be the rarest game that I own, potentially, it's not yet. Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Wii U. That game only, when Breath of the Wild came out, it received a dual release. It came out on the Switch, obviously it was brand new, and it came out on the Wii U. I got the Wii U version because I couldn't get my hands on a Switch at launch. But I just wanted to play Breath of the Wild, right? Amazing game, by the way, absolutely beautiful. But I wanted to play it, and I didn't have a Switch. I couldn't afford a Switch. I didn't have a job at the time, so I bought the Wii U version. And that game only sold 1 million copies. And I say only 1 million. Million's a lot of copies. But take into consideration that Breath of the Wild, I don't actually know off the top of my head how much Breath of the Wild sold. I think it's over 10 million though. I think. I'm pretty sure it has to be. It's Breath of the Wild. But I don't know off the top of my head. I could look that up later. But basically, it's the game only sold 1 million copies. It's on a console that nobody wants. Unfortunately, I actually like the Wii U. I'll get into that in a second, though. I do like the Wii U, and it only sold 1 million copies. It's on a console nobody wants, and I just think it's got a lot of potential to be up there in value at some point in time. Just because nobody bought the Wii U version. Well, I guess 1 million people That's really low for a Zelda game. Like, really low for a Zelda game. I guess we should get into why I like the Wii U. I still have my Wii U plugged in. I just love it so much. It had a lot of great exclusive games on it. Some of them have been ported to Switch, like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. All those are on the Switch now. But New Super Mario Brothers U. But Wii U is seriously one of my favorite consoles because, well, I'm gonna retract that statement. It's not one of my favorite consoles. It is a good console. It has Wii backwards compatibility, so it works with any Wii game. It works with any Wii U game. It has Virtual Console. It's got so many controller options. If you want to use the gamepad for some reason, the Wii Remote, the Wii Pro Controller. I actually really like the Wii Pro Controller. Wii U Pro Controller, sorry. Like, I just think it's a great console, and it's a shame that it failed because it had so much potential. It had so many exclusive games on it. My favorite game of all time got remastered on that console, Wind Waker HD. I mean, that is my favorite game of all time, and I played it originally on the GameCube. And my main problem with the game was how slow you traveled across the sea, right? Wii U version fixed that. You can get the fast sail, which is a little bit of a pain to get, but when you get it, it's amazing, right? If you haven't played Wind Waker, go play it. I mean, it's actually pretty cheap on the Wii U. If you've got a Wii U, if you don't have a Wii U, sorry. No, seriously, Wind Waker is a beautiful game, and it's my favorite game of all time. It's like Wind Waker really is a masterpiece. Wind Waker wasn't received very well when it was announced. You know, coming off of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on the N64. Coming off of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on the N64. People wanted a darker, grittier Zelda, which they eventually got. But before they got Twilight Princess, which is what I meant by they eventually got, before they got Twilight Princess, they got Wind Waker. And that was on the GameCube, and it was like, what is this cartoony kids game, right? Now it's one of the most beloved Zeldas of all time because it's actually amazing. When it was not received very well when it was announced. When it launched, people loved it. I mean, and then Twilight Princess came out, and they're like, okay, this is what we wanted. Twilight Princess came out on the Wii, and a couple months later on the GameCube, and now Twilight Princess is on the Wii U, and Twilight Princess HD. I mean, I own that too, and I actually beat Twilight Princess on the Wii. I never beat it on the Wii U. It's like one Twilight Princess. I like Twilight Princess. It's not my top 5 Zelda games. It might be. I don't know what my top 5 Zelda games are. Let's try to name them right now. Well, one is Wind Waker, obviously. What would 2 be? I'll think of this later. Twilight Princess, fantastic game, but after you play it once, it's like, alright, I need a break. And my break's not over yet with Twilight Princess, because I tried going back to it, and I'm like, I can't. Like, it's a fantastic game, but it's really long. Same with Skyward Sword. Now, Skyward Sword is a game people did not like, because of the motion controls. Personally, I loved it. That would probably be number 2 for me, Skyward Sword. Because I actually really like Skyward Sword. A lot of people didn't like it because of the motion controls. You know, Twilight Princess had motion controls, right? Princess had motion controls, but they came out with the GameCube version. So if you wanted to play without, and eventually the Wii U version, but if you wanted to play without motion controls, you could just play the GameCube version, and now you can just play the Wii U version. But yeah, Twilight Princess, fantastic game. It didn't force motion controls on you. It forced the motion controls on you on the Wii version. Now on the GameCube version, obviously there were no motion controls. But Skyward Sword just strictly motion controls. And while the motion controls weren't great, they were acceptable. I don't think they were as bad as people said. I beat Skyward Sword. That is a long Zelda game, by the way. That's roughly the same length as Twilight Princess. They're both very long Zelda games. It's fantastic. The art style, the story, everything is really great in Skyward Sword. But yeah, the motion controls just kind of subdued it a bit. So maybe it wouldn't be number 2, maybe like 3 or 4. Just because the motion controls, like, they were acceptable. They weren't as bad as people said. They still weren't great. I still love it though. I want Skyward Sword HD, like Skyward Sword on like the Switch. Oh my god, you have no idea how much that would make me happy. Like that would seriously, I'd pre-order that instantly. I would have that pre-order set freaking very quickly. But you know, I mean, Skyward Sword just needs to be on a console without motion controls. Well, I mean, I guess you could have motion controls on the Switch, but like it needs to be not a motion control game, and then people would actually like the game. Like, 'cause it's a great story. It's seriously a great story. Great everything. I mean, it's great everything except for the motion controls. So if it was on a console without motion controls, or if it was supported without motion controls, I think it would be really good. It would be perfect. Then it would be number 2. Still not as good as Wind Waker, obviously. I mean, I like Ocarina of Time. I never beat Majora's Mask. I do like Ocarina of Time, though. I like Majora's Mask as well. Majora's Mask, very good game. I never beat it, though, because it's a really difficult Zelda game. Though, I do like Ocarina of Time more, just because that was actually the first Zelda game I played. I bought that on the Wii Virtual Console. Fantastic game. I didn't beat it until well after I bought it, because I got stuck on the Forest Temple, the first dungeon after you become Adult Link. Like, I got stuck on it, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I've broken so many GameCube controllers over this. I rage quit a lot. I don't do that much anymore though. But yeah, it's Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time, fantastic game. So yeah, right now I think Ocarina of Time would be 2, and then Skyward Sword would be 3. So we got Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time, Skyward Sword. You know, the DS Zelda games are not as bad as you think. Spirit Tracks is kind of lame and how you get around it's okay. Here's a confession. Spirit Tracks is the only Zelda game I've 100% completed. I think I've lost all credibility by saying that. Like, I worked for the Golden Train. I've got every piece of heart, I think, if I remember correctly. I got every piece of heart. That's the only Zelda game I've 100% completed. Whenever I play a Zelda game, I just kind of want to beat it, you know. But for some reason, Spirit Tracks, I'm like, I want everything, and I got everything, and then I stopped playing it. But yeah, Phantom Hourglass is okay. My opinion is not as good as Spirit Tracks. These aren't top 5, by the way. Dear God, no. Yeah, I mean, Phantom Hourglass isn't as good as Spirit Tracks in my opinion. I think I just pissed a lot of people off by saying that, but just my opinion. Let's see, we got Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time, Skyward Sword. What would be number 4? Probably Breath of the Wild. While I really liked Breath of the Wild, and I love the open world exploration and all that, it was missing dungeons, right? You got the Divine Beast, and it's good. It's really good, but the shrines just weren't a replacement for standard dungeons. They really weren't. So number 4 would have to be Breath of the Wild. And number 5. Probably Link Between Worlds. I had a lot of fun with that game. I beat that game, and I just had so much fun with it. Link to the Past. I like Link to the Past. I own Link to the Past. I actually have that complete in box. Link to the Past is good. It's really good. I never beat it, and that's why it's not in the top 5. I like to beat the games before I rank them, you know. But yeah, that's it. I think that'll do it for this Whisper Ramble. Thank you so much for watching. Mostly, all of it was about video games. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.